one. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch Coffee Break. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is my pleasure. It is my absolute delight to bring to you one of the people that I have such great love and admiration for, Pam Drzewiecki. She is one of my biggest supporters. She's one of my biggest cheerleaders. When you see us putting on our Ladies Power Lunch event, she's one of the people who's in the background really supporting me. And I just want to say from my heart, Pam, thank you so much. And this is why we can bring these events to you, because we have members who have not just laid back in the cup, but they have stepped up and said, you know what, I want to support this community too. And 100%, I just want to say, Pam, we appreciate you. I appreciate you, sure, you know that. But we as a group, as a collective, we absolutely appreciate you. So I want to just dive right in and say, Pam, why don't you tell us about all the wonderful things that you do in the world? What do you offer to your clients? What is the transformation that your clients get when they actually work with you?
Well, first I have to say thank you for everything that you do for us, because it's amazing what you bring to this community. And I've been connected with your communities for quite some time now. I think it's been at least 4 years, and how much this community has grown is just, it's just fantastic. So thank you for that. What I do is I'm a productivity and leadership coach. So I help professional women and female founders create their best life. And then once we've created their best life, we put it all together to work on the career that they want or the business that they want. Because I'm a strong believer that we need to have that solid foundation in our lives before we could build on top of that. Because if it's not solid and we're not grounded with gratitude and confidence of who we are, everything we put on top of that is just crumbling, right? So I have become a productivity and leadership coach in the past couple of years. I started off as a life coach, and as I was working more in the industry and honing in on my ideal client, I found that they were looking for certain pieces that I was looking for, right? So I'm a former corporate person. I was there at one job for 28 years, and I grew from pool secretary to chief operating officer of this insurance firm. So when I was starting out, I thought that I needed this, but in my growth pattern, I found that I needed so much more. And being selfish, if I needed it, I was assuming that other women around my age and transition would be looking for the same thing. So, so I've been loving what I'm doing. I do a lot of individual coaching, but I also have an amazing community myself called Take Back My Life, and I'll talk more about that a little towards the end. Just bringing communities together and doing group coaching and masterminding. So yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Excellent. I just want to take a minute to acknowledge our viewers over on our Facebook group. Welcome, Opal. Welcome, Shonda. And there are a couple of other people that are over there. Just want to say we see you, we love you. We're glad that you're tuning in to hang out with us today, even if you cannot be on the Zoom call with us. And for those of us who have made it over to Zoom, again, I want to say thank you so much. Mm-hmm. So, Pam, I really love that you start off talking about the woman that you want to be as a person and then building your business on top of that. Mm-hmm. I think that is strategic. I think that is foundational. And I think that many of us don't start there. And so we eventually get there.
We do.
And I'm probably talking about myself. We eventually get there, but we don't always start there. And so I feel like the people who are working with you and with some of the other, really heart-centered coaches that are in our group, they're actually getting in on the ground floor. They're kind of getting it a little bit better than we had it when we were starting out. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So,
Absolutely.
so great. So I know that a lot of people tuned in to hear you talk today, Pam, because time management is something that people seem to struggle with. I don't know why, because time is just a mental construct, and we're really in a circular time loop, according to Einstein. Yeah, okay. Let's face it, we all struggle with time. And so it's really great that you're here to share with us. So, what's the meat of what, if there was just one thing that people would take away from you being here today, what would that one thing be?
The one thing would be, and I know we're talking about time management, but again, it's the foundation of it, is being kind to yourself and finding the clarity around what you want to do with your precious time, right? There's so many times I find, and I hear from my clients that their email is controlling them and they're spending their whole day putting out fires. So understanding that time is the only thing we can't buy more of, so it's very, very precious. And deciding what you want to do with your time is okay, and have that confidence around that. And then break it down to see where you want it to fit into your schedule. So
Awesome. I absolutely love that. I want to welcome Aina, who joined us just over on our Facebook group. Hi, Aina.
hello there.
Welcome. I absolutely agree with that. I think that's great. So, what are some of the do's and don'ts that you would have for our listeners today about what to do or what not to do when we're considering time management?
Let's start with the don'ts. Because I want to get that out of the way so we can really dive into some happy things, right? Like creating the calendar and the time that we want. The don'ts, first one was the email, like not having it's the first thing when you wake up in the morning. Okay, that's a big don't, because think about how much we go down the rabbit hole and how many hours we spend on doing that. Now, the other don't, I would say, is don't overextend yourself. That's when stress happens. And that's when you stop enjoying your days, because you're so stressed and you're just jumping from one thing to another. As I
And
go in,
can I just jump in on that don't? And the reason I want to jump in on that don't is because I am so guilty of this and I know better. I have even experienced my own burnout. So I know what it is to personally overextend myself. And yet I'm looking at tomorrow's calendar and I'm thinking to myself, yes, that is not spacious. That does not allow me to live in the moment of now. That does not actually allow me to enjoy every minute of every interaction with every single patient, which is what is my intention. And to really make sure that every patient is getting that 100% of what they have come in for when my schedule looks like that. And so I absolutely am going to agree with that, don't.
mm-hmm, right. Because we, as women, don't we wear many hats, right? We wear many hats, and there's many people that are looking for our attention. And it could be either on a personal level or in our business or friends or in our church communities or worship, wherever. We're pulled in many different directions. So that's the reason why when I started creating and working more with the time management system that I've created, I found that if we break things down into buckets and decide what is most important. Now, remember, people talk about work-life balance, and how balanced are we really, right? I truly believe that our balance takes place when we have the ability and the confidence to shift from one thing to another. So maybe one week we're really heavy on the work side, and that's okay, because that's where our attention may lie that week. Where the following week, it may be that our family, we're going on vacation and we need to be more present with our family that week. So I think that's where the balance takes place. It's like walking on a balance beam, right? Like we have to kind of move from side to side to keep on that straight line. So being very fluid with your calendar, and accepting and meeting yourself where you are on your calendar, is really, I find, is really important. It's not such a, okay, what device are you using, right? Like what programs, what are you using, a paper planner, an Outlook? It really starts with the feeling. So if anybody follows me and knows me, I always pick a power word of the week, because that is my grounding foundation of how I want my time to unfold, right? So being grounded by that during my planning process helps me understand what my calendar needs. So that's one of the pieces that I'm using to create a calendar that I love and a life that I love. Does anyone have any questions, or we save that towards the end, Divya?
I don't see any questions for you just yet, so maybe we could dive into the do's.
Sure. Yeah. There's so many different techniques out there to planning, right? Some people plan on Sundays. Some people don't plan at all. Some people feel, I did a poll out on my page of how many people use take time to plan their week ahead. And it was interesting that it was about 40% of people just go and fly into their week and just do what they need to get done. So I found that very fascinating, because being a planner, I like structure around how it's going to be. Now, some people might say that talk to my husband, it might be controlling, but it's not. I just like to know the outcome of what's going to be in front of me. So the do's were, for me, was picking that power word to anchor my management of my time for the week. This week was perseverance. So that was my word this week, was perseverance, just showing up and getting things done, right? But breaking it down in 5 categories, that we all have pieces in our lives: our spiritual category, our physical category, our mental category, and our business and personal. 5 different categories. So if we sit down, I do my planning, and I suggest planning being done on Friday afternoons. Friday afternoon is a great time to plan, because now we could go over the week that we had, celebrate the successes that took place throughout the week, and understand what our week ahead is going to look like, or what we want our week to look like. So if we break down in those categories, it helps us understand how much time do we have to spend in each one of those categories to be able to get that fulfillment of living the life that we love and we deserve. Like Dr. Drzewiecki says, right? The optimal life, having the optimal life. And if we understand what each category, so when I'm doing this, I have a time management masterclass coming up on Monday night. We'll go through the process of developing an actual week that you're going to love in these categories. Ooh.
I'm muted, so I was just saying a week that you're going to love sounds fantastic to me. And I like what you said earlier about I like pretty much everything you said. I like you're choosing a power word for the week. My power word for the week, based on your encouragement over the years, was and continues to be observing. So I am observing what I am doing, and maybe that's why it has come to my attention that it's interesting. My schedule for tomorrow doesn't look the way I would love for it to look. But then I also like what you said before too, about it not necessarily meaning that you have to have that exact balance in every single day. And then again, observing my day tomorrow, the reason my day looks like that tomorrow is because I'm taking a little time off next week to spend with family. So we're trying to get it all done so that we can make space for the other thing. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. It really isn't that one-to-one balance. It really is kind of shifting things around.
Right. And being kind to yourself, that's saying it's okay. You know, some days we may have to have 10-hour days working, right? But if we're identifying that that's what's the reason why we have 10 hours on our calendar, is it because we've overloaded ourselves and we have not given ourselves any space? Or is it because, like you're going to take some time next week, so you know you need to pay more attention to certain areas? And being okay with that, like owning it and saying, you know what, this is what I need to do. Having those statements, right? I need to do this because of something, not justifying it, but just acknowledging what it is and the reason why the schedule's like that. So that's a big do, is like understanding those pockets in our lives and how much and what are the activities we want to fill inside those pockets. If we were breaking it down a little further, I would say, you know, look at on a personal level, the chores that we have to do, right? Laundry. I know me, I had to find this out for myself, is how long does it take me to fold a load of clothes and put it away? And the reason why I did that was because I was tired of the feeling I was having every time I walked by the laundry room and there was, you know, 7 loads of clothes to do. And then I would have to spend hours on a Saturday morning that I would rather fill it with my family or doing something fun than catching up on laundry. I know for me, 9 minutes to fold a whole load and put them away. So when I know that, it says to myself, I have 9 minutes. I did a load of clothes in between a course that I'm doing today and doing this, right? Because I knew it would only take me 9 minutes to get that done. So being aware of what our time is and how long does it take to do things, especially stuff that we might not want to spend a lot of time on and we have a habit of procrastinating around because we don't like doing it. So we could help ourselves understand that it's a short period of time. And what is that feeling you're going to have when it's done? That's the key, is remembering the other side of it when we get there. I think we have a comment. I'm going to put my glasses on. And found only it takes me 9 minutes to go through shopping, food, and my bar supplies. Exactly. Knowing how long the shopping would take place, then it's easier to fit that into our calendar underneath that personal category. So when you sat there and you go through your personal category, what is it that you need to do? Figuring out how much time you need to do that. You might not be able to get all of the personal stuff done, and that's okay. Instead of trying to jam it all in and then feel overwhelmed and not be part of the journey at all and just checking things off the list, right? So time management of how it makes you feel and being clear around it. Yeah.
Any additional do's that you want to mention before we start talking about some of the technology that is available for staying organized?
Sure. I would say that if you have people around you that is part of your scheduling, communicate with them. Let them know what it is that you truly need, right? Because sometimes I could be running around and I would want my husband to understand that me running around and huffing and puffing means that I overloaded my calendar. But he may not pick up on those clues because he's on his own journey of figuring out what he needs to get done. So really talking to the people that are in your life the most, that really, really are affected by you figuring out your 5 categories, and listening to them. How can I help you? How can you help me? So just have clear communication of what your expectations are.
Excellent. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about, I know you have your Take Back Your Life planner, and I want us to talk a little bit about that at the end, but is there any technology, any plugins, any apps, any extensions any websites that you recommend that can help us to stay on top of things?
Yeah, I would say for me, I use Outlook a lot. I use tasks in Outlook sometimes, but my biggest thing in Outlook is having folders for everything. So say I get from my virtual assistant, I get emails from her, they automatically go in her folder. So now I just go to the folder and I see what needs to be done. So I'm not scrolling through all of the emails that are coming in. That's one thing. The other thing I did that I find is helpful is I set up another email just for signups. So it's not in my personal email and it's not in my business email. It's anything that comes to that email address is maybe funnels that I jumped on, groups I joined. So everything is there and it's not integrating through everything else that I have to go through. So those are a few things that I've been using, and just brain dumping, like just get it off your head and deal with it when you do your planning.
Pam, talk a little bit more about brain dumping. I had a patient come into my office, true story. I learned this really, really early on in my running a business excursion, and a patient came in and she was so overwhelmed and so overstressed, and I really do believe this was causing her pain. And this is one of the beautiful things about being an entrepreneur while also being a doctor, because a lot of my patients, they're women in business, and so we do spend a fair amount of time in the office talking about growing their business because that's their biggest headache. And she came in and I explained to her how to do brain dumping, and I swear to you, her half hour was not spent with me doing laser treatment or ultrasound or any of that stuff. It
That's
was me
awesome.
showing her how to do a brain dumping, and she came in the next time pain-free. So tell us about brain dumping.
Yeah, I love the brain dumping activity. I use it every single week. I think it's very important just to freely sit. It's a little overwhelming at first if you don't understand or you haven't had the ability to do it yet. It doesn't matter how, for me, it doesn't matter how it comes out. I just release what is on my head and just spend 10 minutes and just write, dump it all out. After the brain dumping is done, then I could go back and organize it the way that I need to organize it. Then it could fit into the categories where it needs to go. Then it could go on my calendar where it needs to be. But it's really important to just share whatever is on your mind onto paper, because once we start clearing space, like your patient, I mean, pain-free, because it's the stress of the overwhelm. It's the stress of waking up in the middle of the night because something popped in your head and now you're not getting good sleep. And now you're not healthy and you're not on your A game, right? So really getting in a practice of it has been very beneficial for myself and for my clients and other people that I share this with. So even if it's part of your journaling, just sit and just write whatever's going on in your head, and then deal with organizing it afterwards.
Yeah, so basically just everything that you might think that you have to do, every task, just pushing it on paper and then pulling it from the paper and dumping it into your schedule. That's kind of how I tend to do it. And yes, I guess you could do it as part of your journaling too. Shonda is asking about using it as part of journaling. Yeah, I think so. That sounds great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It could
So
be your journal activity on the day of your planning, right? Like on Fridays are my brain dumping day. That's when I unload for the week. Not saying that I don't have a running thing when things are on my mind, just to take it off my mind. If I'm out for my walk, I may dictate into my notes on my phone, just a place to release it so I don't forget it. And then it all comes together in one place during my planning.
I like it. I like it. And sometimes, like you said, and like I think what's happening with my patient, when you feel like there's so much to do, but you don't see it in an organized way, it can really cause a lot of pressure. And we're all built differently, and we're all built to definitely organize differently. For some people, when they're thinking about what they're organizing, they're very task oriented. For me, when I'm organizing, I'm trying to see how can I build more spaciousness into my day. So we're all focused a little bit differently, but we all do have to have some kind of a schedule, whether it's loose or whether it's tight. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is, I think, beneficial to everybody. So would you be open to sharing with us a little bit about your Take Back Your Life system?
Sure, sure. I could put it in. Well, we could share the link out later so people could go look at it.
Sure.
I have a community called Take Back My Life, and it is a community for professional women and female founders that want to do exactly that. They have been very busy their whole life, and they want to start adding some space in their life for themselves. And the community has filled with virtual coaching sessions, group coaching sessions once a month. There's happy hours in there that I have to bring people together on a weekly basis to celebrate successes. And the whole system is like a mastermind, because when we get together once a month and I have a topic on a coaching topic that I'm going to share, we all get on and we all share and we help develop and grow everybody. Inside that system comes with my planner that I've designed, which is the Powerful Purpose Planner. It's a paper planner, but each month.
Do you have one with you that we could see it? Because I want everybody to see how beautiful
So
it is.
This is my Powerful Purpose Planner. And on a weekly basis, it's really a task management system to help you manage your time. And each month is a different topic that I use to, by the end of the 12 months together through the planner, you have a better understanding of yourself and how you want to move forward in your lives. So one month is budgeting, another month is self-discovery, the importance of a dream team. So there's like every single month you get a different topic inside the planner, but then being part of the community, you get a video for one a week that covers those areas for you. So it's been a great community. I've been working on growing it for the past year, and it's coming along fantastic. I'm really, really thrilled with the results women are getting from being inside the community. So I'll share the link on that. And then any masterclass that I have, there's always a discount if you're part of that community to further educate on different topics that you want to be involved in. So.
Excellent. Excellent. That sounds wonderful. Is there anything additional that you want to share that we might not have gotten a chance to touch on today?
Just that I do have that time management mastery class coming up on Monday night, August 3rd at 6:30. It's a 90-minute master class. It'll be very interactive, and will help you. By the end of the class, you'll build your week. You'll build your ideal week so you can use that as a template to move forward and see exactly what you want moving forward. So that's on Monday night. And I'm going to give a coupon code for that. It's $49, but for all the members in the Ladies Power Lunch, you'll get a $10 off coupon code that you could go ahead and join. So that
is so generous, Pam. Really, truly appreciate.
My pleasure.
Certainly your coupon code, certainly you sharing all of this knowledge and experience with us, which is way worth so much more than what you're asking for it in the first place. And also thank you for sharing this time with us today. So ladies, I invite you to stay in touch with Pam, and if it feels right to you, certainly give some consideration to having a conversation with her about being a part of her community and that sort of thing. Ladies who are able to join us on Zoom today, such a pleasure to see your beautiful shining faces. Happy to see all of you, and let's go to gallery view so we can wave to each other. Hi guys. To all of you who joined us over on Facebook. And we did have some other people who joined us. Emily joined us, Olympia joined us, in addition to the other women that we mentioned before. So happy to see you. And I invite you all to come on back on Friday at 1 when we're going to have the sales whisperer, Liz Detterer, and she's going to be talking to us about not being salesy. And she's also going to be giving away, it's such a great thing she's giving away. It's a free consultation with her and then a free class with her as well. So it's a nice little combo package. So I think if you have an opportunity to join us tomorrow at 1, you should probably get on it. And if any of you've seen my spinning wheel, you probably want to get on my spinning wheel as well. I'm so excited. All right, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. And I think we made it to 31 minutes today, getting closer. Awesome. Time management. Bye, guys.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.